Hello, and welcome to another commentary. This time we are talking about a very, very popular request. Winter Soldier versus the Red Hood. Bucky Barnes versus Jason Todd. Our second ever live action death battle, and we are joined by the guy from Ismahawk himself, Danny Shepard.
Hey, yo.
I don't know why I said it so weird. Hey,
Introduce him like, come on down. Like,
Come on down the aisle, Danny.
Welcome. Come on down. I'm here,
Oh my
everybody. Thank you.
Glad
for
to
the
have you here,
intro.
Danny, as we talk about this. We also have the writer from the episode, Joshua.
hello,
What's up, Josh?
I'm here.
And
I'm
I think
always
Chad's
here.
somewhere out there
I
doing
play
his boomstick
boomstick.
thing. Yeah. But this episode is widely requested. It's been a matchup that has been requested for a super long time. So we've always kind of expected, like, we're gonna do this episode at some point, right? And then when we were working with you guys, Danny, on Nightwing versus Daredevil, I remember you specifically saying, like, hey, if we ever get to do another one, something we've talked about forever was Red Hood versus Winter Soldier. It was like, that's perfect, because we want to do that one too.
Yeah, I
Hey, I-
remember talks
go
of
ahead.
this where we were immediately like during Nightwing versus Daredevil, like right as that was wrapping up, it was immediately just like, this will be the next one that we do whenever that can work. Sorry, go on, Danny.
No, I was like, I remember, I think Ben was on set, and we were like, hey, Ben, just throwing this out there. If you like the way this one turned out, it would be really cool if we could do a whole Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. And then Ben kind of gave us this like nod and a wink, and we're like, okay, well, I guess maybe we're doing it. And we didn't hear anything for like a year. And we are like, oh, I guess we're not doing it then. And but we've been planning it. We've been putting a lot of good.
We can pull back the curtain a little bit, and that's it. I mean, we love doing these live action episodes, and we love working with you guys. Live action episodes are a little more expensive, so you gotta find the time when you can work them in.
Absolutely. Totally.
For sure.
We've definitely been planning it for a long time, like thinking about it, because like the first draft of this script, and obviously it's very different from the final version, but the first draft of this host script was written like almost a year ago.
Oh, whoa.
Probably over that, because we've been talking about doing this with you guys. So we sort of joked about it during Nightwing vs. Daredevil production. And we were like, yeah, this sounds like it would probably be the next one to do. And then we weren't able to do one because that was in what, 2018? When did we do Nightwing Daredevil?
I don't know.
2018.
That was then. Yeah.
Yes. And we were like, yeah, okay. We kind of figured like in 2019 we'll do another episode with the Ismahawk guys. It'll be great. We'll do Winter Soldier versus Red Hood because we know they want to do it. And then we talked about it. We reached out to you guys eventually, and then we were like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it done for this year for 2019 because the budget's kind of crazy. Not necessarily because like of what you guys are demanding or anything like that.
Right,
you guys
right.
have always been so accommodating. But just in comparison to most of the episodes that we make, like at the end of the day, Death Battle is not some big Hollywood project, right? We don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars dedicated to every single episode necessarily, so it can be tricky sometimes to figure out how to fit it in. But we absolutely knew we wanted to. We absolutely knew we wanted to make this with you guys, and so we made it work. It took a little while, but we made it work.
But we got there.
So glad that we did.
And man,
Yes.
that's why with this one we really tried to. We know how, we know this is like one of the bigger types of projects that Death Battle sees, and we really wanted to make sure that we brought our A game so you guys could I know feel like it was worth the investment, and that I know the audience has been waiting for this fight specifically for a long time. We're like, well, we have to make it a banger. Like, we got to go above and beyond, right? I mean, or else why are we here, right?
Yeah.
So we were stoked
Exactly.
when you reached out, and honestly, like we went in and we were like, all right, man, like we had a like our own kind of idea for a script, an idea direction we wanted to take, and we were like, all right, we're gonna go balls to the wall and do some crazy stuff. Like, oh, you want a CG arm? All right, man, we're gonna kill ourselves over it, but we're gonna do a CG arm.
Well, don't spoil it for these guys just yet.
Sorry.
Some of the people here haven't actually watched the fight yet, which is going to be great. So speaking of the script, Josh, so long project in the works. What was it like for you, like jumping in?
It was awesome. I mean, it was so cool to for one thing, it's such a highly requested fight. Like, you can go to any death battle video on our channel, and it doesn't matter what the fight is. Someone will request this fight. People have just wanted it for so long. So for one thing, that was cool. For another, just the possibility of Ismahawk doing this fight was even more exciting. And then it was great that I knew both of these characters already. Like, usually when you write a death battle script, you got to do a deep dive on at least one of the characters just to become even more familiar with it than you already are. But for these two characters, I already knew them pretty well, so it was fun to kind of start from that perspective and just jump right in and get to obviously incorporate a lot of the researchers' research, but to have
I'm
a
so
starting
glad we
base
included
was, like,
that scene.
was great. Oh yeah, absolutely, you got to. So yeah, it was a blast. The script was really fun to work on.
We tried to maintain as much, because obviously doing live action is such a, it's different than animation in that, we have to abide by the laws of physics and the laws of our budget. So, like, some things, as exciting as they are, would either be more complicated through visual effects or through sets or whatever. So we tried to maintain the essence of your original script as much as humanly possible. So I hope you see that in the end result, even if it is a little bit different.
Oh, no, I mean, I've seen a work in progress of the fight. I haven't seen the final fight, which I'm excited for here in a bit. But, no, like, that work in progress and even, like, the versions of your scripts that were coming in, I was so pleased. Like,
cool.
It's been so awesome. Yeah.
So there has been, because live action isn't something that Death Battle normally does, and it's very much dependent on, like, what you guys have available and can make work. The writing process for this is definitely different than a usual one, where we would typically look at what assets we can build for an animated fight and then work from there. But in this case, we typically write up an initial script. Like, this is the general idea of what we want to hit for the fight, like the specific research we want to showcase, things like that. And then we give it to you guys, and we're like, so this is what we
this is what we're thinking.
Want-ish. But, like, what do you guys think you can do?
Yeah.
And it sort of evolves from there, like finding a set and building the costumes and things like that. Definitely, the fight script kind of evolves as the process continues. And, like, man, so one thing that's really interesting to me is, like, comparing this to Nightwing versus Daredevil. It's not just in the characters and the fight itself that's coming up. Like, it's a similar kind of episode, but in sort of like a darker twist. Like, the fight is a lot more brutal, I think. The environment is a lot darker and I guess less clean, I guess so you could say. You'll see when we get to it, but that totally represents the characters so well, with how messy these characters are, their histories, their pasts, how they relate to the characters who were in the previous episode and things like that. Which is fantastic. I love that sort of relationship between these two episodes, and kind of the build-up that we've had working with you guys. And who knows? We'll see what happens in the next one we work with you guys on. Hopefully, maybe, definitely.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like, I threw this out on Death Metal Cast, but it's like, we love working with you guys because you're so easy to work with. Which
Likewise.
Because you guys are you're super passionate, and it's like I worked a lot more on Nightwing Daredevil. For this, I just pretty much voiced, but, like, when we're having those conversations, it's so fun because it's just like, well, like, can we get a new Nightwing suit? Because the old one's, like, pretty rough. And it was just like, so we were looking, like, okay, yeah, we can probably get a new Nightwing suit, and Danny's like, yes. And then
yes, like, let's upgrade the suit.
Yeah, and then the opposite's like, well, we want it to be on a rooftop. And then it was just like, ooh, that's going to be really hard with, like, regulations and finding a good place and whatever. And then, but then you guys are like, but we know of this car garage. And then we're like, great. Like, and so it's just the constant back and forth, and, like, it's everyone just trying to work together to get the best that we can for what we have. And, like, it's super awesome working with you guys.
And this one, I feel you say we're easy to work with. I think you guys are you make the process so incredibly easy, because there were a couple ideas that I pitched to Ben, and I was like, hey, can we do this? And I thought you were gonna say no. I thought you were gonna be like, no, that's a little too much. But you were cool with all of it, and I felt like we had so much creative flexibility, and I think we know what you guys wanted. But also it allowed us to try some really kind of weird stuff, and some stuff that as a huge fan of both of these characters, I'm so freaking stoked for people to see it. There's a moment in this fight that, like, it gets me excited every time.
I forgot about this moment. Because this was improv in the booth.
Yep.
Chad just decided that Boomstick was going to vomit all over Dummy. And we kept that for some reason.
I don't know.
Why
Stuff
would
just
you?
happens.
Oh, no.
Amazing.
You got to.
You know, we improv a little bit every so often these days. Like,
That's where the gold is, man.
sometimes things get... Sometimes that's how we find the gold.
Previews and animated scenes.
Sometimes.
I always feel so bad because there's a lot of times that I'm just like, ooh, let's do this instead. So like, sorry, Josh.
It's good. It's like that. Even to y'all's earlier points, it's like that old cliche of like a movie gets written 3 times: when you write it, when you shoot it, when you edit it. So it's the nature of it. You learn to not be precious with the little things.
That's the pro tip right there, man.
Like whether or not a character vomits on another one.
I don't remember what was the original that was supposed to happen. I don't remember.
I think Boomstick injected it, did inject it, and
right.
then
Yeah.
it didn't work, or something happened. Oh, right. You thought you were going to. So we actually. I don't know how this is going to work per se, because we actually kind of removed a little bit of information. It's not super important though. But the original skit was you inject yourself expecting to become super buff, and then would be like, well, actually, Jason's venom doesn't make him buff. It's a less noticeable thing. But now we don't have that line.
Right.
That's true. Well, because that was like
vomited instead.
That's like
And then Dummy
Boomstick's
goes
very
flying.
impatient.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
you show it to him, he's gonna slam it. Like, right? He's gonna rip it out of your hands and just slam it, not
She
knowing.
does-
Fortunately, I don't think line is all that important. It's an interesting little factoid, the different kinds of venom, but not all that important.
Yeah.
But we are to the fight.
Woo! I'm so excited because I haven't seen this yet.
It is very cool. You got a guy. So the guy voicing Batman, Danny, you had mentioned was completely coincidental. It wasn't originally going to be Batman, right?
Yeah, it was going to be Oracle in the beginning, and that's why he says, "What's up, Barbie?" in the beginning. That's actually I read in a comic an interaction between Red Hood and Barbara Gordon. He called her Barbie, and it's the first time I've heard any character refer to her as that. So I've instinctually always thought of him, be like, "Well, what's up, Barbie?" almost being like kind of condescending. And our guy
He's a
who's
dick.
yeah, and
Well,
we
not
had
the dick, but a dick.
not a dick, but a dick. Yeah, exactly. And there's so many Easter eggs in this, by the way. Like, I hope people comb through this because there's, there's Easter eggs.
Big Belly Burger.
Look at
It's gotta be Big Belly Burger, of course, because apparently no other food chain exists in the DC universe.
Yeah, right.
There was a bunch of other ones we considered, but we were like, everybody's going to be able to pick out Big Belly Burger because of the Flash. So
Yeah, because the arrow shows.
right.
Dude, this
And
set's
this is,
so cool.
The stuntman and actor playing Red Hood, his name is Tim Neff. He's a Hollywood stuntman and vet. He's amazing. This is our boy Tyler Tackett. He played Daredevil in Nightwing vs. Daredevil. He's back.
He's back!
Oh, wow.
And now you can see the other side of his face. You can see the top half.
Somebody's going to go back and composite it together.
It's funny thing is I was like, when we were talking about this, when we did Nightwing vs. Daredevil, his hair was short. And I was like, yo, Ben... I was like, yo, Tyler, if we do this, like, you want to be Winter Soldier, you're going to have to grow your hair out. And he was like, all right, I'll grow it out right now. And he literally has not cut his hair. He did not cut his hair up until this. Yeah, for the whole year. And I was like, we don't know if it's going to happen for sure, bro. And he was like...
Daniel Day-Lewis commitment.
Oh, yeah. He's down, dude. He's so talented.
Amazing.
And-
Like, that's crazy. I figured we like threw him in a wig or something. That's wild, man. That is commitment.
yeah, man.
Oh, man. Tyler's awesome. Like, he was awesome in Nightwing Daredevil. He's so good in this, too. But, man, these guys, I don't know how you find them, Danny. Like, you find the perfect guys for this stuff. It works out so well.
I'm a fan, man.
Oh,
I'm such
look
a
at
fucking fan. Sorry, fan
it's
and
fine.
geek and nerd, and I love these characters so much that I want to do right by them as much as possible. And I hope that people, when they watch this, they see that love and commitment, and that we really did try to get the characters as right as possible. Everyone's always mad when their favorite loses, but hopefully they'll see that, oh, there's a lot of, work that went into
Both characters
this.
have been done justice. Speaking of which, oh, well, here comes the
Yeah,
moment.
the arm.
It looks so good. God, I love that you guys were able to do a CG arm.
So we were going to do a bunch of different things for this CG arm, but Jeremy was really, really really motivated to do it. He was really like, dude, we can't do this character without the metal arm. And I was like, well, what if we do sleeve or that? He was like, dude, we got to do the metal arm. I was like, Jeremy, it's gonna be like 80 visual effect shots if we do a metal arm. And he's just like, he's like, let's just make the movie, is what he says. He says, hashtag just make the movie. So that's what we did. This is my favorite shot in the whole short, by the way.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, the other thing too, the choreography is awesome. It's so hard to do a gun and martial arts fight simultaneously. You know what I mean? Like, I can't stand it when like there are those moments in movies where like they have firearms but they're also fighting, and there's always that moment where you're just like, well, we could have just shot him there. Like, you know, and like
it's very easy to gun kata, or for gun kata to move into like it's cheesy and it's fun, but it can get into a little absurd territory. Depending on what you're doing, obviously. But like with these kinds of characters who aren't necessarily down to earth, like they're still superheroes, but they're still grounded superheroes. We can't get too cheesy with them, especially with somebody like Jason. And speaking of which, the helmet, the costume.
Dude, so good.
Can you tell me a little bit about these costumes, Danny?
Well, I did another masterful illustration of Winter Soldier's costume. That's how we got to that. A couple people really wanted to go with the costume from the Winter Soldier movie, but we were told that this is not Winter Soldier Bucky. This is like post, mind control. So we were like, we need to make him feel and look different. So, we went with the gunmetal arm instead of bright silver because we thought it was a little edgier. His shirt underneath is navy blue. We wanted to give him a little bit of contrast to Red Hood, so he's like blue and black, and Jason is red and gray. And the helmet was provided by an Etsy store called Cosplus. It's based off of Dexter Soy's Red Ronin. The entire costume is actually based off of Dexter Soy's Red Ronin. I'm such a huge fan of his artwork and such a huge fan of that. Like, it's like fan art of Red Hood, but I was like, it's so dope that we were like, well, we got to find a way to bring it into real life. The jacket that Red Hood was wearing, actually in the beginning, Tim, our actor playing Red Hood, he actually got that jacket like 2 days before, and it's custom made, genuine leather, and like literally custom sewn to go around the costume. That's
amazing.
It's pretty
it looks
sick.
So good.
Holy shit.
He could not see a thing, dude. He couldn't see a thing while he was fighting in that because of the lights.
Man. And we haven't talked about this. This was filmed like right before all the COVID stuff happened.
Yeah.
Like literally right as it was starting. I was originally going to go fly out, and then that weekend or that week leading up to that weekend, Rooster Teeth and Warner were like, we probably shouldn't send people out of the state just in case. I was like, oh, I was so bummed. But I can imagine, like, all of Red Hood's scenes, or fight scenes, like, he's just doing it by memory. Can't see a dang thing.
Can't see a thing. It was really bad.
And because of that, he dies.
That's it. He gets his head popped like a grape.
Oh, man.
I love this shot. I love how the color on this shot.
Oh, it's so cool.
So great.
Dude, the whole set that you got, the like restaurant setting with the kitchen, and it worked out so well. I love how you have them go from into the kitchen and then back out, and that's sort of a really big shifting moment of the fight from Winter Soldier to Red Hood and backwards. I don't know, like it all just came together in a way that, like, I guess I wasn't really expecting it to be as big as it turned out to be.
It was almost 7 minutes long, actually, just in the fight. We didn't
chunk of fight.
We didn't know it was going to be that long either, but we really wanted to feel a dichotomy and like a tonal shift when we jumped into the knife sequence. Just because we were like, the knife is so much more of a really violent weapon. This is when it gets really dark and gritty. We have that Joker moment, which is the moment I was talking about earlier, which is one of my favorite moments in the whole thing. It's like him having this PTSD flashback of the Joker killing him with a crowbar. Like,
and I don't know if you mentioned it before, but the reason why Batman ended up being at the beginning is because the Joker actor also did a really good Kevin Conroy impression.
Yes, he's outstanding. He was like, I was like, hey bro, can you do a Joker impression? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, wait a minute, you can do a Batman impression too, can't you? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you down to do that for the beginning? And he's like, hell yes. He's super talented.
As much as I love Oracle, I think having that conversation with Batman be like the last thing that Red Hood does before his death, it just fits so well. I think it works so well. Man, I love it, dude.
Cool.
So awesome.
God, thank you so much, Danny, for all your hard work, and tell your crew that we absolutely adore them. They're so fantastic.
Thanks so much, man. We had our team really, gave it their all. Every single person, really pushed it to the limit on this one. I'm so grateful to all of them. Huge thank you to you guys for bringing us in on this one. It's one of my favorite things I've ever worked on. So I'm really grateful.
Quick, shill your stuff. Where can they find Ismahawk?
You can find us on youtube.com/Ismahawk. We're actually coming out with a lot of cool content within the next couple of months. A lot of cool original stuff, action stuff, some comedy stuff. Yeah, definitely give us a follow, check us out, subscribe, hit the bell. You know the whole deal.
Go do it. Well,
Perfect.
dude, Danny, thanks so much for being on, man.
Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
absolutely.
Anytime.
Well, we'll see when the next time is. Hopefully sooner than later.
Right?
Hopefully, fingers crossed, man.
The question is,
Yeah,
what would we
yeah.
do?
Who do you guys want to see? Death Battle community. What's the next live action gonna look like?
Let us know, and think about the reason we did these live action matchups. So nobody who's flying and shooting a million lasers or throwing people through buildings, please.
But could we though?
Oh, God.
Yes.
Right, Danny?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Could we though?
Yes, we could.
We could though.
We can
Yes,
do
we
anything.
could, though.
Anything our imagination wants us to do. It would just me and Jeremy will just suffer in front of our computers in post production.
All right. Thank you all for watching, Verse members. We love you. We'll see you guys in the next commentary.
Bye.
Bye.